If I could take one thing from my passed over loved one, it would be have to grow down in order to grow up. And at the time, I didn't understand what my uncle meant. My uncle, he's the crazy uncle that everybody has. That was him. But we were besties, and that was my best friend. Aside from outsiders, that was my family best friend. And he would tell me, you have to unlearn everything you know in order to grow up. But how he said it, it wasn't that clear. How he said it was, you have to grow down in order to grow up. And that was so confusing to me. And now it clicks where you have to unlearn everything you know in order for your life to prosper, in order for you to finally get it, for it to finally click for you. You have to unlearn. That's what he meant by grow down. And I'm like, how do you grow down? You can't grow down. That's weird. But he meant you have to unlearn everything. And it's so clear. It's so clear because all the things that I've been unlearning has been, it's been phenomenal. It's been amazing. It's been magical to see that it was all a lie. The things that you were taught as a child, most of them were lies. You went to school most of the time, especially if it was just regular school, Catholic school, doesn't matter what school. You went to school most of the time. So you weren't home learning about attraction. You weren't home learning about using your mind. You weren't home. You were learning what's 2 plus 2. And we don't use that. That's not the way of life. But you were made into a robot with that way of thinking, with that simple way of processing things, of just going to school at 5 years old. You start preschool at 3 or 4. And from there on, you have been taught from someone that went to school to teach you your A, B's, and C's. You know what I mean? To teach you how to read, the books that are already being published, to teach you how to, picking what your algorithm, picking what you have to learn from what they were taught, not from what works for you, how to live in this life of on this earth, how to eat nice things, how to nourish your body with lots of water, what dehydration feels like, what, real life things. We weren't taught 2, 3, 4 on the clock. We were not taught real life things. We were taught the how to multiply numbers. And that's not that's not what you use to live in this life, unfortunately. So you have to unlearn what you were taught in school. Learn what you were taught from your peers. They didn't know. Nobody knew. No one knew to teach you about law of attraction. No one knew to teach you how to use your money better. No one knew. You can't blame anybody. You can't blame anybody anymore. It's only up to you to unlearn everything you knew. It was all trash. Trash. Very much trash. Very much garbage. And you have to learn how to use money better, how to build a relationship with money, how to build a relationship with you, how to build a relationship with yourself, how to build a relationship with the ones around you, how to maintain relationships with the ones that you love around you. Because if you don't, that's what causes separation in family. Even though you don't get along with people, there's still ways for you to cope in their space and still reach out and show love. But you have to build this muscle of caring about it. And if you don't care about your loved ones, it shows. And, now it's space and whatever else that causes. You have to unlearn your way of loving. You have to, because it was most likely toxic. If we're being real, this was most likely a toxic way of living. We all have this trauma of some sort. It can be small, it can be big, it doesn't matter. There's some trauma that comes from their way of loving. Maybe your parents were too smothering. Maybe your parents weren't smothering enough. Maybe they weren't affectionate enough. Maybe they weren't, look at my pinky, I didn't even realize. It was out. Maybe it wasn't, maybe they, whatever it was, there's something that feeds into your now adult life and adult self. And it's up to you to unlearn that way of living because it's not the only one that exists. That's not it's blocking your progress. It's blocking your way of thinking, for having more for yourself, accepting more for yourself, because it's so limited to 2 plus 2 is equals 4, and that's the only solution. No, actually, I'm teaching myself a free way of thinking. And yes, 2 plus 2 is going to always equal 4. That's not, I use that as a metaphor to, there's ways around everything. There's ways around the way that you think. There's ways around what you used to know. There's ways around every rule that you've been shown. There's ways around every way of thinking, every way that any way you've attracted, there's ways around it. Everything has its own route for each separate person. Imagine how many routes there are in this world. If each one of us has our own route, we're not meant to be robots. I'm not meant to learn mathematics if that's not what I like, if that's not what my heart is set on. Why do I have to sit and torture myself and learn mathematics and get my PhD or whatever in mathematics, and I don't like mathematics? That's not what I want to do for what I love. I'd rather sit on here and play and press play and record my life, or 602 and whatever it is that you choose for your passion, for your way of life, what makes you happy. You have to find a way to love that by unlearning everything you knew. Unlearn everything before this day that you found this video. Unlearn all that. The way that you treat your friends, unlearn it. The way that you have conversations with people, unlearn it. The way that you speak, unlearn it. The way that you carry yourself, unlearn it. Forget about it. And that's going to take time. It takes time to unlearn things, but you have to fill the time that you used to use towards those things that you were putting your attention on that didn't make any progress in your life, or whatever it was that was causing you to still be and stay over there. You have to not pay attention to it. Like how I'm looking over here, your trash is over here. Your new things are over here. You can no longer look at it. You can no longer pay attention to it. You can no longer put your attention on it. Your attention has to be over here on, okay, so since I'm replacing that thing, let me look at, how do I speak better in conversations? How do I comprehend people better in conversations? What does this work? Read more books. When you read books or you read things, you read paragraphs, you learn words. And if you don't know that word, it's so fun for me to Google a word. You just use Google. Google, what does this word mean? And use the context clues around it. It makes your brain smarter subconsciously. You're building your brain cells and you're teaching yourself a new word to use with a new person. When somebody else says this word, you're gonna feel so cool and happy. Like, I just learned that word. I know what that means. And it feels like I'm smart, I'm freaking smart. And you just feel better. Read more, learn big words, and test yourself with big words, and put yourself in places you've never been, and unlearn everything about being afraid of life, and everything that people taught you how to feel. It's a lie. You don't have to be afraid of this life. You don't, because you're always being backed up and hugged by Source, God, Spirit, universe, nature, whatever you believe in. You are your spirit guides. That's another. I ain't got enough fingers. Okay, there's so many that you can name it. Allah, so many names for this energy that is always loving you very, 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 very deeply, very dearly, very passionately. They are loving you. Spirits, they are loving you. You're going to feel like a magical being when you feel like, I don't have to believe any of that anymore. I don't have to be afraid of letting things go. I don't have to be afraid because I know it gets 10 times better for me because that's what Spirit said. Spirit said that. So I just know that why would God lie? Why would God lie to me? Why would God lie? Why would Spirit lie to me? Why would universe lie to me and tell me that they got my back and not have my back? So I have to release these things and know that they got my back and it's being multiplied. You thought that that was something, honey. You thought that he or she or that job was something. Wait till I give you this. This is everything in a bag of chips. This is everything you've ever wanted. Everything you ever wanted. And you have to keep reminding yourself that that's all you need. Every time you feel afraid, every time you feel scared to let go of something or to move forward or to do something that you've never done before or to feel something new or to spend a certain amount of money you've never spent on something not dumb. Don't be going and spending on dumb stuff. That's not our life anymore. We are spending on assets. You got assets. You got assets, honey. You got things that matter. Look at you. Look at you growing up. Ooh. Sprinkle fingers, sprinkle fingers. Okay, period. Because, period, I love it. I love it for you and I love it for me. And things are working out for us because everything is always working out for us. And I love you. And again, this was an episode of Ethereal Hour. Y'all, I just jumped right into this video. I didn't even introduce my podcast. Okay. This is the official second episode of the Ethereal Hour podcast. And I'm so happy to have y'all here. And if you watched all the way through and you made it here, I love you. Okay. I love you. You. I love you and everything about you. You're wonderful. You got this. This is nothing. You were made to explore this world. You were made to prosper. And I love you so very dearly. May the blessings keep sprinkling their way upon your life. I love you and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you go ahead and like my video if you haven't already and subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment because I've been loving to respond to you guys in the comment section. So let's hang out down there. And until next time, I love you and I can't wait to see you then. Bye.